and welcome back to the Low Side Podcast. This is, of course, a podcast where 3, sometimes 4 dudes gather around in the old dusty mop closet and talk about whatever is on their mind. I'm Nate. I'm joined with Steve.
Hello.
And Alex.
What up, guys?
We've got a great episode for you today, but before we get into all of that, listen, I'm getting sick and tired of asking, of begging. What do you want from me? Please leave us a review on iTunes. Help us in that algorithm. Right now we've got 5 ratings. What do you want? Do you want me to start reading them off? Because I'll do it. I'll start reading them off live on the show if you leave a little review on iTunes. Of course, don't forget to follow us, Low Side Podcast, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, Sredy, what are we talking about today?
Well, we have a whole list of topics because we haven't been here. It's been about a month or so since we've actually been together. You guys wouldn't know that since we do this bi-weekly. But yeah, this podcast is going to be the most recent one that we've done in a while.
It feels weird. It feels good to be back. I missed the podcast.
Boys are back in town.
My boys are back in town.
All right, that's all we can use without getting sued.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right,
3
so
seconds.
Topics for today. We are going to be talking about the Alex Jones getting kicked off of literally everywhere, right, boys?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Even our podcast, he's done.
Yeah, he's done off our podcast as well. We're going to be talking about my experience doing the 48-hour film project a couple weeks ago. The film is out now, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I have my local film shout-out as always. And there's one other topic that I'm forgetting about. What else do we want to talk about besides Alex Jones?
I think we're going to briefly touch on 8th Grade, the new A24
Oh, yeah,
film.
we got some... we're not doing a real Shreddy's take today. You know, since we haven't talked about anything really for a month. And the last episode, I think I reviewed Jurassic World 2, which is a little outdated.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about some things that I've been watching recently that I've just really enjoyed. So we have that. I feel like there was one more thing. I thought there was one more current event that we were going to talk about. Maybe it'll come to mind. I mean, we could talk about MoviePass if we really want to go there.
Ooh, I forgot all about MoviePass.
Do we want to talk about MoviePass?
Yeah, there's a big update. They need to know
there's-
about it.
There is. All right. So, yeah, where do you guys want to start? Do we just want to start with the MoviePass?
Yeah,
Let's jump right in.
Yeah, let's just
As they
jump
say,
right into it.
on the out of the basement.
That's not my phrase.
That's your phrase. You say it all the time. I love it.
All right. So
Let's jump right in.
Yeah,
Come
let's
on.
jump right in with MoviePass. So, as many of you know, MoviePass just kind of took a shit, for lack of a better word, recently. Basically, the company ran out of money about 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, it was when Mission Impossible Fallout came out in theaters.
Yeah, that Thursday opening when Mission Impossible came out. Basically, nobody could go see the movie. Nobody's movie passes were really working. And the reason for that is because they basically ran out of money. So the way MoviePass works, for those who don't know, is that they pay for the full ticket price anytime that you go see a movie. So it doesn't matter what it costs, you know, they're going to pay for it, which doesn't make a ton of sense since your subscription is $10 a month. As we've talked about many times on the show, they are pretty much just banking on you never using it because they know nobody goes to the movies. But
Apparently they do.
flash news, everybody started going to the movies.
It's like this mentality I never understand where pretty much if you're offering something for like next to nothing or free, which is kind of like how MoviePass is, because you see more than one movie a month, you've already pretty much paid for what you were doing. And I don't understand why these big companies always underestimate people wanting to use something that's pretty much borderline free for them.
Yeah.
Like they're just paying for the gas to get to the movies and maybe some snacks. So it's like, how did you not see this coming? But one other thing I wanted to say was I also found it hilarious that the initial weekend for Mission Impossible, they tried to play it off like, oh, we're having technical difficulties. That's why the app's not working, guys.
Yeah.
Well, they basically have that since it came out. I mean, honestly, the amount of problems that people had with that thing,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Dealing with the cluster of people who just couldn't use their MoviePass was fantastic because nobody knows the difference between nobody knows that MoviePass is not actually affiliated with the movie theaters.
Right.
It's its own separate company. But another major update with MoviePass, recently they have decided that there's been so many freaking updates that I just can't keep track of when all these have happened. But basically, you weren't allowed to use your MoviePass for first-run movies. For those who don't know, that's movies that have been out for less than 2 weeks. So pretty much any of your new releases, such as Mission Impossible when that came out.
And they keep it nice and vague by saying terms like blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they can pick and choose whatever they want.
Right. And then they jacked up the price, $15 a month, which I've been waiting for. I still think the service is worth it as long as you are not, or as long as you're willing to wait those 2 weeks for the bigger movies to be on the second run list. But now, in another major update that happened, I believe, this week, MoviePass is now limiting you to 3 movies a month instead of the 1 movie per day.
Oof.
And that includes first-run movies.
Right.
With an asterisk. We don't know what first-run movies means, but they're still not being 100% transparent about that.
Classic MoviePass.
Classic MoviePass.
Be as vague as humanly possible and just hope that people will stick on.
Yes, and apparently I didn't know this either before we did the podcast. One of my coworkers let me know about this, but apparently you can get discounts on tickets too if you buy more than one. You can get up to $5 off. Who the fuck knows what that means? But
right, or how's that even going to work?
yeah, I have no idea. I didn't even know how one of the other major updates was they had the surge pricing. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
Yeah, they got rid of that. Basically, what that meant is that if you went to a movie that had a lot of traffic, so like a lot of tickets being bought, they were going to add a price onto that, because it's a popular movie and they want to make some money. And, they kind of need to make some money since they literally have no money. But they were very vague about that. I was going on Twitter, just looking at MoviePass stuff, because looking at MoviePass stuff on Twitter is hilarious. But come to find out that you could be in a theater with just yourself and they could still charge you that as premium pricing.
That was what I was going to say. Was I loved seeing all those tweets of people taking pictures of their empty theaters and being like, wow, glad I paid peak pricing for this totally sold out show.
Yeah.
Excuse me. What I wanted to say was, I don't think $15 a month is going to solve their problem.
No, I don't know if you guys remember, but MoviePass was $40 a month.
It was like
back
$40.
Yeah.
Right?
And I thought it was worth it back then if you were going to the movies like pretty consistently, because movie tickets are, the national average is like $9 or $10
like
or something like that. I actually have a friend who lives in New York, and she went and saw 8th Grade before it went nationwide, and her standard ticket was $17.
Wow.
And I'm just like, that's insane. So if you live in one of these bigger cities where the tickets are just outrageous,
It's still beneficial.
It's still beneficial if you're going consistently, because that if you see 4 movies a month, that brings your $17 ticket down to $10 a month. But
so do you see a lot of people sticking around here in our area? Do you think they're going to hold on to the $15 a month?
I mean, now that they can see first run movies, quote unquote, whatever the hell that means right now, I don't see why not. I don't like the 1 movie a day, because that's just going to end disastrously, as we have seen. Now that they have like a cap on it, I think that'll help them a lot, because that limit is definitely going to help them catch up with paying their bills, because now they were spending $20 million a month in tickets. I have no idea how much debt they're in, but $20 million a month. They got popular back in, I don't remember, sometime last year.
It was honestly, because I made my video on Out of the Basement about this almost a year ago.
So
it's been about legitimately almost a year to the exact date that MoviePass switched to $9.95 a month.
Yeah.
So they made it 1 whole year. Whoop-dee.
Yeah. They really just need to. I like where AMC is going. I don't know if you guys saw AMC's kind of.
It's called like A-list.
Yeah, A-list. You can see 3 movies a month. It's completely within their company. So if you have any problems with it, they can fix it in-house instead of having to say, oh, go to MoviePass's customer service, which doesn't actually exist.
I think it's just it's a fish tank, and it has 1 goldfish in it, and it just swims around.
Pretty much. But with the AMC one too, that includes premium movies too, so you can go see whatever their premium standard is. I don't know what it is in IMAX as well, which is pretty cool. So $20 a month, 3 movies. I mean, if you're watching 3 IMAX movies or even 3 standard movies, because AMC is expensive as fuck for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, that's if you're going consistently. And then you also get concession discounts as well, which is something you don't get with MoviePass, because, you know, they're just their own thing.
Is it like a percentage off, or do you know off the top
I think
of
it's
your
like
head?
10% off or something like that.
So
I mean, it's not much, but, you know, it's something to keep people going.
yeah, it's still a decent deal if you're into watching a couple movies a month.
Right.
Yeah, I honestly, you know, I don't think MoviePass is going to last much
That's
longer.
going to be my next question to you guys is, do you think it's going to...
I think it's
Stick
already done
around.
its damage. I'm curious to see how many people have already canceled their subscriptions, because I know a few people personally have already done it.
Including myself.
Yeah, so how, you know, you're going to raise the price, but you're going to start losing people.
Yep.
So you're basically kind of in the same boat. I mean,
Right.
you know, it's the same difference. You're going to start losing people. I feel they're just going to keep sinking.
Yeah.
According to today, as of today, AMC already has 175,000 subscribers to their
It's pretty good
Stubbs A-list, which launched at the end of June.
Which is pretty good considering that it's one company.
Yeah.
Cinemark has their own version too. I'm not a huge fan of it.
I think what we're gonna see is MoviePass fizzle away, because every single individual theater company is gonna figure out how to do this and
Better.
and either do it better or do it to where it's just you know, all around a better value.
Yeah.
Like, so I think MoviePass they laid the bricks down. Mm-hmm. But all the other companies are going to take it and run with it and make it a lot better. Just sort of the idea of a subscription service to a movie theater.
Do you guys think that they might get bought out? I feel like it. I mean, the company has potential. It's just they're doing everything wrong.
I think with all of the bad PR, I feel like the name MoviePass is probably, you know, like maybe they'd get bought out and maybe the name would get changed, but I couldn't see anyone in their right mind being like, yeah, I want to own MoviePass, the company.
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Yeah, especially I mean, they've been getting flack for so long, and it's just getting worse and worse every single day.
They addressed in their email, I saw that there was one sent from, you know, like users, hey, these are the updates that are coming, and even to like some of the movie chains, they're saying, hey, sorry for the lack of customer service. Sorry for the lack of response on issues with
Right.
MoviePass. We're going to make it better. But
I don't believe them.
Win. You know what I mean? You've already been doing this for over a
it's too
year.
late.
Yeah, like you've done your damage.
They're gonna get it right for a week, and then it's just gonna be gone again.
Yeah, that was the biggest complaint, was people not being able to get back to MoviePass to solve an issue that the theater had no responsibility over. So that's a big deal to customers for sure.
Yep. So I think MoviePass's days are numbered.
But it's both a good and a bad thing. I mean, it kind of sucks for the people who initially started it, because it's a great idea. Obviously, it works. It got people. I don't know how many subscribers they had. I think it was like over 2 million. So people want a service like this.
Right.
Yeah, the
People are
subscription system is not going away. I think
Yeah,
it just
no.
needs to be
Yeah.
set up different, like you were saying.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of having one centralized one, because say you prefer, because, you know, we have 3 different movie chains in our area.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, say I don't want to go to AMC, or if I don't want to go to Cinemark, you know, and that's the only thing I have in my area. If I'm traveling, you know, like, then there's no AMC theater, like, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm kind of screwed. But, I mean, I guess you're in the same situation with Netflix versus Hulu versus whatever other TV subscription services there are. So, yeah. You guys anything else to say?
Yeah, this is back in June. 3 million people have
Yeah.
MoviePass.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know. I think MoviePass is toast.
I'm actually glad it's toast. I kind of hope it just, like you said, fizzles away. If it does come back, make it better.
Yeah.
You know, make simple better.
Yeah.
That's basically what I have to say about that.
All right. So moving on to the next topic. This is it's a little bit off topic, but I've been thinking, guys.
Yeah?
I've been doing a lot of thinking.
Ooh.
And I think I have
Sounds
found...
like my wife.
I think I've found what is absolutely going to destroy humanity.
What is that?
Oh, boy.
All right. It's not going to be war. It's not going to be Donald Trump. I think it's going to be paper towel dispensers.
What a random thing to have beef against.
All right,
Okay.
explain.
So my thought process behind paper towel dispensers. I see a lot of people attempt to use them, and nobody can figure them out.
Do you wave in the front?
People just cannot figure them out for the life of them.
If you were to take a paper towel dispenser away, it's like they're doing the Macarena. It's like, what are you doing?
Exactly. And it's just so fucking hilarious to me. No matter where I go, if I'm in the restroom with somebody and they're trying to use the paper towel dispenser, they just don't look at the instructions, and they're just like.
And there's usually just one. It's just an arrow.
Yeah, it's just
hands here.
Yeah, and I can't figure it out. It happens every single time. And when people complain to me, like, "Oh, your paper towels aren't working," and then I go in there and instantly swipe my hand under it, and it works.
Right. All these diseases they can't wash off their hands.
You just wonder, how did these people make it this far in life?
Right.
They can't even figure out a paper towel dispenser.
And, I don't know if I should feel like a shitty person for not helping them. I just sit there and watch and just laugh in my head every time I watch them struggle.
Survival of the fittest.
It really is.
Right.
I feel like
just let them be.
What's that Mike Judge movie? Idiocracy. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys seen that?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, though.
Okay, so I just feel like I'm watching that every time I see somebody at a paper towel dispenser. Basically, the sheeple just, they just can't think on their own.
Right. It's not working. Guess I'll go complain.
That's a good complaint, though. I feel you on that one. But I just let people burn. I say let them burn. Let them suffer.
Yeah.
They'll learn sometime.
They'll
learn sometime.
And it's almost always, older people.
No, man, the one that made me think about this topic was a kid.
Dang.
Maybe 12 years old or something like that. Just
there's no paper towel in here.
Yeah, just
you can't play Fortnite on a paper towel dispenser.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's no A button.
Yeah. I'm just like, come on, man. Come on.
You're trying so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, valid complaint.
Yeah.
Valid complaint.
Yeah. So, all right. So moving on. Alex Jones in the news.
Oh, no.
Intergalactic cyber demons from hell. They've tried to take me off of the mainstream media of the internet, but I will thrive, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Living meme, Alex Jones has been sort of kicked off of the biggest platforms on the internet, this including iTunes, podcast services, Spotify podcast services, which it's pretty hard to get on Spotify, so that's a tough one, and of course YouTube. So Alex Jones disappeared. He's got his website still, which he posts from.
What happens when? Do you think Alex Jones is like the president and CEO of InfoWars?
I think so.
Do you think he's got a team?
I would
They
imagine.
just kick Alex Jones off of Alex Jones.
You're done here.
So it kind of started out, they were deleting, iTunes and YouTube and everything. They were deleting certain episodes of his show.
So did anything spark this in particular, or
Well,
just
and that's the thing about it. It's like their response to why they kicked him off. We were watching, I forgot who it was, but they said it was just the language that he uses is it's hate speech, but what they didn't describe is exactly what he said. It was just a very vague blanket kind of statement that said, hey, Alex Jones speaks this way. We don't like it. So he's out of here.
Yep.
And then all the big tech companies followed suit, getting Alex Jones out of here. So
yeah, which it's like I'm conflicted on this topic.
Yeah, I
don't like Alex Jones. I've watched clips of him just because he's funny. He's so over the fucking top about everything that you're just like, this guy's so ridiculous, and his low gravelly voice and classic memes they're turning the frickin' frogs gay.
Have you bought his essential oils yet?
I have not.
No, I heard they're pretty good.
But at the same time, I'm kind of wondering, okay, they've kicked him off for hate speech, which I personally 110% think that a lot of the shit he says definitely classifies as hate speech. He's definitely borderline racist a lot, and he says a lot of horrible things the children that died at Sandy Hook were crisis actors.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So there's things like that where I'm just like, okay, yeah, fuck this dude. Get him off of mainstream internet. But at the same time, I'm like, what does this open up to have companies like YouTube take down people who are we've seen it somewhat before, but people who are just edgy comedians. Maybe iDubbbz or H3H3 who say really inappropriate stuff, really fucked up stuff, but they're just joking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not joking though.
Right.
I was gonna say, but how do you decipher that?
That's what I'm saying.
Where?
It's like-
how do you figure out if Alex Jones has just been trolling and joking around for all these years, or if he's being serious? And that's like.
I guess when you take him to court, and that's for him to decide at that point.
Yeah, because it's like, the way YouTube takes stuff down is mostly a robot. So how does a robot determine intent, I guess? Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily think anything is really going to come of this. I think it was just time. It was just time for Alex Jones to go bye-bye. And, of course, you could say that, this is a hit from the liberal tech companies that are trying to get Alex Jones off the internet. But I don't really think that's it. I think that it's just a very convenient straw man argument to use, because you can't go all these years saying super inflammatory, fucked up shit with you pretty much having no evidence other than, I talked to this one guy.
I've studied it all.
I've watched a YouTube video, and next thing you know, I'm an expert on the internet.
So I'm like, there's only so far you can go with saying all of that shit before it catches up with you. And I think that's just what this is. I think it was just what he said, all of the horrible stuff he said, and everyone on InfoWars finally catching up with them. I don't think this was necessarily an attack. I think it was just,
Right, enough's enough.
Yeah, and these companies are private companies. They don't owe him anything.
Right, I was just going to bring that up.
And they don't have to abide by, it's freedom of speech. He should be able to say whatever he wants. Yes, in real life, when you can just say it out in the street, but when you're uploading your content to a platform that's hosting it
and has rules and guidelines.
Yeah, it's up to them to decide what content is going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And so you can't really get mad at the tech companies or anything like that, because it's their rules.
Yeah.
Like, you have to play by their rules if you're going to upload to their platform. And if you can't abide by that, don't be shocked when you get deleted off of it. And I've seen he's been going off on Twitter about all this and that, about how it's a liberal assassination. And I'm just like, no, dude, you have to play by these companies' rules, because they don't owe you anything. It's free to upload on YouTube. It's free to upload to iTunes. I would assume it's free to upload to Spotify. You just got to get approved for it. So, yeah, I don't know. I've just seen a lot of debates about, like, what's next for free speech. And I just wanted to say, I don't think this is a free speech issue, really.
Not really. I mean, That's a fine line right there.
Yeah.
Like, when you're clearly promoting hate, that's a lot different than having a civilized conversation about whatever it is that you feel about. Mm-hmm. And I don't watch him, so I really can't speak about his content. But, the few meme kind of moments that I have seen of Alex Jones, I'm just like, okay, I've had enough. So
yeah. It's like, you get it.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to try and sell you his pills.
Yeah.
His body,
essential oils.
His body enhancing pills that turn you red.
Honestly, I had no idea that he was on any of these platforms. I never knew where InfoWars was on.
Yep.
So this is kind of all news to me. I thought he was had his own platform anyway on his website.
Well, yeah. I mean, he still does have his website, which, hey, he's protected there. He'll never get deleted off of his own website. So.
He has quite a bit of viewers and followers. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I've seen a lot of overreactions to it about, this is the death of free speech. No, it's not.
No.
It's just you
didn't follow the rules.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Follow
dude.
the rules of the platforms you upload to, and chances are you probably won't get deleted off of it.
If we started talking about stupid shit on here, is that the death of free speech for us guys?
Yeah.
Should we say something extremely racist?
We might get more views if we do, but I don't want to go that route.
Yeah, let's have Steve do it.
Yeah.
He'll be the controversial one.
Yeah.
Starting next episode.
All right. I'm going to be... What would be your role? Because Steve can be the conservative guy.
I thought I was Steve A. the racist. I thought that was the joke.
I'm the liberal guy, and Nate is the swing state.
Yeah, I'll be the middleman. I'll be the fence walker. I'll just balancing on that picket fence.
I can see where Steve's coming from. But,
I like Alex's.
I'm more with Sredy on this one.
I can see where Steve is coming from, but I also see where Alex is coming from.
But I can't decide, guys.
It's like on one hand, I agree, and on the other hand, I don't.
Make up your
You
mind.
know, this show would be a lot more interesting. Let's just start doing that from now on.
What? Being edgy?
Yeah.
All right, let's
Being
light
more-
something on fire.
All right. Well, if we start bringing beer here soon,
Let's burn
To the
down the
podcast,
low side
we'll be all right.
podcast
Yeah.
banner.
Can't wait for us to switch studios, and then we start getting a little more loosey-goosey.
Oh,
to
things are going to
say
get
the
so
least.
wild.
Yeah. You thought they got wild before.
right?
Just
This
wait.
is a very conservative show right now.
So,
Yeah.
Alex, do you want to take us to the next
yeah, so
topic?
Our next topic is...
Hillary Clinton is a damn cyber demon.
Yeah, that actually, we need to do an episode
What?
about that.
Hillary Clinton?
Hillary Clinton being a cyber demon.
All right.
So we're going to do Shreddy's take, which is not really a Shreddy's take. We're just going to be talking about some things that I've been watching recently. Like I said, this isn't going to be a full review. We're just going to briefly touch on some of these movies that I've been watching. I have 5 movies. I'm going to talk about 2 of them today, and then... Or I'll talk about 3 today, and then the other 2 on the next episode. So I'm going to start with Sicario. Did you guys watch the second installment of Sicario?
I'm so pissed I missed it.
Stevie.
I'm the worst.
I have owned the first movie
Oh,
on
yeah.
Blu-ray.
Nate hasn't seen Sicario, the first.
I think I bought it Black Friday 2 years ago at this point, and I still have not watched it.
The thing I'm disappointed about is, you know how I always complain about movies in GDX? Like, why did we put this one in there? And then
Yeah.
the ones I want to see, I'll
And
go
then you
watch
just don't
them.
Go see it.
No, I do watch them. And this one was the first one. I was so mad.
It was so good.
I know, it's all...
On the Dolby Atmos.
It didn't sell very well, but it had great reviews. Like, everyone
Yeah.
coming out of the theater was like, man, that was so good. I liked it. Man,
Yeah.
it was badass.
Okay,
You know?
so essentially, Sicario, for those who don't know, it's basically about the drug war between the United States and the Mexican cartel. That's what the first one focused on the most. Not really to that level of detail. It was a little bit different than that. It focused on Emily Blunt, who is, I forgot what she works for the CIA or the FBI or something. I can't remember what. But basically, she just has to follow around Benicio del Toro and... Damn it, you distracted me. Benicio del Toro and Josh Brolin's character. And, you know, there's a lot of fucked up shit that happens on both ends of the law. And, you know, it's... what the fuck are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing, I'm just checking the weather for
Nothing,
tomorrow.
Dad.
God damn it. Now I gotta look. I gotta look.
No, there's nothing to look at.
So anyway, the second movie focuses more just on Josh Brolin's character and Benicio del Toro, and this movie is fucked up. Like how much do you guys want me to get into spoilers?
I thought we were doing a quick review, Sredy.
It is a quick review, but I'm not gonna
I
go
say
into the level of detail.
no spoilers.
No, yeah. Save the spoilers.
Okay, I won't tell you what happens, but can I give you an idea of what happens?
Yes.
Okay, so
Just
there's a
say it.
terrorist attack in the beginning of the movie, and it is fucking intense. Like that, this movie is dark, and that's been a lot of the complaints that I've been hearing about this movie.
It's too dark for them?
It's too dark for them, and I'm just like, no, like this is the kind of shit
is-
that we need to see. Like, how are you gonna bring up like these types of issues if like people don't see like what happens? Like, it's one thing to hear something in the news, like, yeah, there's this bombing that happened or this shooting that happened, but to be able to experience that in a theater, like, is disturbing. Like, this movie is fucking disturbing, and I love it.
Good.
I love being disturbed. Like, I've not been that shook by a movie for a while.
And it's weird that it's coming from an action movie too.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely check that out. That was probably one of my favorites that have come out the entire year. How many did I say I was going to talk about? 2 or 3?
7.
You said 3?
3. Okay. So the next one I'm going to talk about is American Animals. This movie has what's his name, Evan Peters, for a
American
show
Horror
that
Story.
I don't care about. Yeah, he's really
Also
good in this movie.
X-Men.
Yeah, and that other guy, man, the guy from Killing of a Sacred Deer in Dunkirk, Barry something.
Trots.
I don't remember what his name is.
No?
I don't think it's Trotz. But this movie is basically about these kids. It's really weird. Like, did you guys see the trailer for that movie? It's like a heist movie. Like, you get that from the trailer, right?
No, I haven't seen the trailer for that.
So it's part documentary and part like movie. So basically it cuts back and forth between the real life kids who completed this heist. Basically they are a bunch of college students that are kind of looking for a change in their life. So they decide that they're going to steal this book of paintings and try and sell it that at the college's library. So like I said, it cuts back and forth between the real life people who did this heist and then, the actual movie.
Oh, interesting.
It's a really fun movie. There's a lot of callbacks to like a lot of movies like The Dark Knight, for instance. Like there's a lot of matching shots that were really cool. The acting in it's phenomenal. You got to check it out. I definitely recommend. It's got half a documentary in it, so that's right.
I'll watch half of it.
So Steve's in.
Yeah, so Steve's in.
Yeah.
The last movie I wanted to talk about, and Nate and I can talk about this, is 8th Grade.
Nice.
The Bo Burnham movie.
Before we get into this, did you see Unfriended? Dark Web?
That's actually on my list for next week.
Nice. All right.
I mean, I guess we can talk about all 5 of these.
Nah,
if you really want
we'll
to.
save it. We'll save it.
Okay.
We'll save it.
All right. So, yeah, 8th Grade. What'd you think, Nate?
I really liked it. I thought it was a very well-made movie. However, definitely could not relate to the subject matter, but I obviously understand that. This movie's not for me. This movie is for people who have grown up in school with cell phones, social media, all of that stuff, which is something that I feel like all of us are too old to relate to. Because I don't...
To a degree, I think...
Because I got a smartphone in 10th grade, I think was when I got a smartphone. Mm-hmm. So before that, I didn't have anything like that. I wasn't on YouTube or anything like that, where she runs a YouTube channel in the movie, and she's definitely it's very like, there's a lot of intentionally cringy humor.
Yeah.
Because of just like, she's an awkward 8th grader and she's doing awkward 8th grader things. And so I liked that aspect of it. I liked that you're kind of sitting there and you're like, ooh, this is like, it's like secondhand embarrassment, the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been making YouTube videos since middle school, so not necessarily like she does in the movie. So, I mean, I guess I can relate on that aspect. Not necessarily the cell phone, because the cell phones are obviously huge in this movie. Mm-hmm. But the social media aspects, I mean, I was on MySpace back then. I think Facebook came along when I was 15.
Yeah.
I think that's when I got into it.
But back then, though, before we had like smartphones, Facebook and MySpace were things that you still had to be at home to use. Like, you had to go on your computer.
True.
And so it's not like, you had it in your hand 24/7 like everyone does now. I feel like social media in general has just changed since smartphones became affordable for everyone to buy.
Yeah.
And I like that the movie tackled a lot of like the anxiety, like the real life anxiety that comes from, trying to be like, I don't know, cool online. So I think that worked. The one thing that I want to say about the movie is the MPAA needs a reform, man. That's all I want to say.
I'm really like, I know Bo Burnham, he wanted, like, when you ask him about, or when he's talked about this in interviews and stuff like that, he's talked about, this movie's made for 8th graders, but they're not living a PG-13 life.
Right.
I agree with that for sure. But I mean, the F-bombs in that movie are so not really there. I felt like he could have just avoided it. Because, I mean, I did that in Cashing Out too. Like, when I was writing the script, it was originally going to be like, a language, not really driven movie, but it had a lot of F-bombs. And then I counted how many there were. There were only like 13. And I'm like, is this really worth me, like, getting an R rating? Having that R rating-ish kind of movie. Mm-hmm. I just didn't really feel so. So, I mean, I guess,
What is it rated? Is it rated R?
It is rated R.
8th grade is rated R.
Just for language. And there's like one... Let's just spoil the movie because Steve's never going to watch it. But
yeah,
there's this really cringy scene.
An older high schooler is trying to get her to
have sex.
Yeah. And it's really awkward and it's really cringy. And when that scene started, I was like, this movie better not be going here because I do not want to see that bullshit.
Yeah, luckily there was no raping that happened. Yes. But, man, I was just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
This is what leads to rape.
The only scene I saw from it was the kitchen scene where she's having dinner with her dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was trying to force her to have a conversation with her, but she was glued.
Right.
And like kind of pulling away from the movie. Like I see that all the time. I mean, I think we've talked about it before on the show where people are just glued to social media. They're glued to what's going on in other people's lives and not really focusing on what going on in their life. Like I feel like that's, super relatable, especially with my friends who have kids. You know what they do when they don't want their kids to act up or be loud? Here's a tablet. Here's a computer.
Yeah.
And then they get so tied to it. Like the girl in the show, I just watched that 10-minute clip. That was it. But I was just like, this is for real. Like, this is how kids are now.
It's definitely, it's a very realistic portrayal of modern children, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I mean, I talk about it at home. It's like, it's kind of scary, like they're almost just prone to, they need to have the light in front of them and they need to be distracted or it doesn't go well, like they just act out, they tantrums everywhere, they just, and they're crazy kids. Oh, here's a laptop. All right, see you in 4 hours.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know if that's good.
There's actually a topic I wanted to talk about like months ago that I wanted to talk about, and then I think we just didn't do the podcast or I just forgot about it, but I took a social media hiatus for a couple of days.
Oh yeah, I remember
just,
that.
Just to do it. And, I think this is a good time to bring it up. So basically I tried to cleanse because I saw that the H3 podcast, they decided to cleanse, and I'm like, I wonder if I could do that. I wanted to do it for a week. I only did it for 3 days. But the thing was, I just didn't really feel like there was a point. It made me realize that I'm checking my phone way too much. And for a while, I actually deleted Facebook and Twitter off my phone because like I just found myself like unconsciously just picking up the phone and just clicking on it for no reason.
I'm never on my phone, so I don't know.
Yeah, there will be times where I'll be looking at Twitter, I'll be scrolling through, seeing everything I need to see. Then stop, close out Twitter, and then I sit there for like 2 seconds, pick my phone back up, and go right back on Twitter. And I'm like, I've already seen all this shit. What am I doing?
Do you know how long it takes me to use the restroom now?
2 minutes?
It went from 2 minutes to like 20 minutes because I'm sitting here just scrolling. Oh, Alex is posting podcast stuff.
I don't do that.
I'm stuck on my phone way longer in the restroom than any other point of the day.
Yeah, I try to keep my bathroom phone time to a minimum.
That's like the equivalent of reading a newspaper.
Yeah, but
I
it's
mean,
like,
it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah, but I could be done and out of there and moving on with my day, but I'm scrolling on Facebook with poop on my butt.
Taking a break.
Because I'm scrolling and I don't want to clean up and move on. Like,
Right.
What is the deal here? Like, that's how attached we are. And don't say that you don't do it, because I know there's plenty of people out there.
You all do it.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Step one is admitting.
I really didn't see the point, like, because I thought it would, a lot of people, it depresses them. And I definitely have gotten off of certain social media apps because of that. But I just didn't really feel that with Facebook, because if I don't really care about somebody, I just unfollow them. I won't unfriend them. I just won't follow them, so I don't have to see any of their posts.
Unfollowing is the single greatest tool on Facebook that they've ever made.
Yes,
because you don't have to deal with if I run into this person in real life and they realize that I've unfriended them.
We're not friends anymore, Nate.
Yeah, because people take that shit so seriously.
Yes.
And like, if either of you guys ever unfriended me on social media or anything like that, I'd be like, that's fine.
I'd be pissed. Fuck you
We're
guys.
friends in real life, but
tear the poster down.
That's one thing that's always like I'm just like racking my brain about. Is I'm like, why do people care so much about being friends with someone on a website?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they probably just see it as a personal attack.
Right.
Like, what the fuck did I do to you to make you do this? Like.
Yeah.
And see, now we get to avoid those situations because we just unfollow people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's great.
When certain people, like request me on Facebook, I'll accept, and then I just go straight to the unfollow.
Yep.
And I go, yep, we're friends. Okay, I don't want to see anything you have to say.
Yeah, there was. I'm trying to remember who it was I was talking to, but she came up to me and she was just like, "Yeah, so and so they were like being jerks and stuff, and like now they don't want to follow me, and they just took me off Facebook. So now, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on my other platforms, whatever else, and I'm going to unfriend them before they unfriend me." I was just like,
see,
you're really going to get them that way,
It's because people are so bored.
Who cares?
They're just so bored. Like this is all they have to live for, and I don't understand. Like there are other things you could be doing.
I've binge watched every show on Netflix. What do you want from me?
Yeah, they have nothing else to do.
You guys need to find hobbies. Is what. Like I was just talking about this with a friend. A lot of my friends don't have hobbies, so they just sit around and like he was telling me.
Oh boy.
How he has been going down the rabbit hole a lot lately. He didn't really specify.
Which rabbit hole?
He didn't specify. Just a ton of different rabbit holes. Like he's like, yeah, I looked something up.
Is that rain?
Yeah, is that
Is the
rain?
studio caving in?
Somebody.
I thought you were tapping on the table.
Yeah, I thought you were too.
Yeah, that's why I've been looking around confused because I was like,
we're getting rained on right now.
Yeah, we're getting rained on. I don't know if you guys can hear that.
It'll probably pick up.
Yeah, but anyway, damn it, now I lost my train of thought. Okay, so he said he's been going down these different rabbit holes. He didn't specify what the rabbit hole was, but he's like, yeah, man, like, I just watched one 10-minute YouTube video. Next thing you know, I've been sitting on the couch for 7 hours. And I'm like, dude, you need a fucking hobby.
It's 6 a.m. What happened?
You know what I did this weekend? I built a Gundam model kit.
Sweet.
That was a very therapeutic experience.
Yeah.
Something that I used to be really into, building models when I was younger. And I went and visited my cousin, and he was like, "Hey, you want to build a model kit?" And so he went out and got one. I got one, and we just sat there. We just built it together and had some nice family bonding time.
Dude,
and it was
call me up next time you do this.
It was really relaxing, honestly.
I told Nate I used to do that when I was younger. I used to make model cars, and I would paint them, put them all together, and it had a very therapeutic process about it. Just something like to get your mind off everything else. And you build something, and then you're like, look what I did. Mm-hmm. You could be proud of that,
I do that a lot now with, like, my filmmaking stuff. Like, if I'm just, like, over something, like with editing, or one of the nice things about doing this movie thing is I'm always consumed with it, so I'm not really ever bored.
Yeah.
But if I'm, like, over just, like, sitting at the computer or just frustrated with something, I will build, like, something related to, like, my kit or something like that, and that'll take, like, all day, which that can get very frustrating too, but at least it gets my mind off of whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But man, these people on their phones, like there's just some people I know that spend, all they do is just sit around and watch these videos on YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook, and they just get so consumed by it.
And are the videos, okay, is there a difference between videos that are productive or like a learning instead of just straight up memes or people doing the Kiki challenge?
I want to, oh God, I just learned about what that was recently, but because I had somebody who's, man, they've watched so many of these videos, and I'm just like, okay, there's nothing wrong with having your own form of entertainment. That's fine. I'm not trying to nix you for that or anything like that. But when that's all you do, that's a problem. Like, I watch a lot of movies, but, I'm doing other things as well. I watch a lot of stupid videos on YouTube and Facebook, but
there's a balance.
I'm not watching all of them at once.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find Shane Dawson's channel, and then it's just a black hole.
Yeah.
That's another thing. On the what I've been watching list, if we're going to start talking about TV, I just finished, I'm watching Sharp Objects right now, the Amy Adams show on HBO.
Okay.
It's super fucked up, but it's fantastic. Finally caught up on Better Call Saul. Man, this rain.
I know.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
got to be like hail or something.
It probably is. Like, we were supposed to get hit. But Better Call Saul. But I'm watching... Alyssa and I last night started watching Shane Dawson's Jeffree Star videos.
Oh, and I powered through that yesterday.
Did you?
Well, there's still one unreleased part, but yeah, I watched all of
Okay.
it.
What do you think so far?
I mean, it's really interesting.
It is interesting.
The dude is unbelievably rich.
Yes. Okay, so Steve has no idea what we're talking about.
What?
So there's this, would you call him trans? Like, I don't know what to call him.
I think he's just a gay man.
Okay,
I think he's just a gay man that likes dressing like a woman.
Okay, so there's this, he was a pop star at one point, this guy Jeffree Star.
Started out as a MySpace internet celebrity.
Yeah, then started doing music, been around for over 10 years, essentially. But his big thing is, like, he's super into makeup and just, like, Gucci and all this girly stuff. And then there's this YouTuber, Shane Dawson, who's primarily known for doing conspiracy theory videos, like we've watched before. But he does a lot of other goofy videos, too. But the difference between him and all these other videos is he's actually likable and entertaining.
Right.
But he's doing the series right now about Jeffree Star, just about his life and all these other things, and it's like really interesting because you always wonder about like these super rich like YouTubers or just celebrities in general and like what they are like behind closed doors.
Oh, yeah.
And you get that look. You know, I've only watched 2. Was there 5 videos? Something
there's
5 or
5
6
up right now.
Yeah, so I've only watched 2 of them right now, but the first one was 45 minutes and it felt like 10 minutes. I'm like, holy shit! Like we already finished the first one. Yeah, so we watched that one and then the second one, and now I got to finish the other 2. But
yeah, definitely worth a finish.
periods of some heavy rain for at least 120 minutes. All right, guys. Well, hope you like listening to rain because we can't do shit about this, and we're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
So let's circle back to 8th grade.
Yes,
Sredy, what did you think? Do you recommend it?
I absolutely recommend it. I wish,
And I agree too.
man, I wish they would have done like more of those. They had a free screening yesterday.
Yeah.
Without a rating, which I don't know why that would make a difference. They should just say everybody can come to this. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. It hasn't. It's not a super hit. I don't know how much it was made for, but I mean, at least people are watching it. Like I was peeking inside one of the theaters the other day, and like on a Tuesday, and I couldn't believe how many people were in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, good.
Yeah, when I saw it on Tuesday, and there was a good crowd in my show.
Yeah.
What I want to say is I feel like if you're out there and you're listening to us and you have a kid who's like middle school aged, you should definitely take them to see this
Absolutely.
movie. It's going to help them. It's going to help you if you're having that sort of like disconnect with your child. I feel like it sort of gives insight on what it's like to be the child, and then it's also kind of like what the child's perspective of the adult, of the adult that like when her dad is watching her around the mall instead of just letting her be herself, and she's really upset and he doesn't really understand why, but I think it kind of does a good job of like illustrating how a child feels in that scenario.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of learning in this movie, from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's not huge on the parents' perspective,
But
I
there
mean,
is
it's-
some.
There is
Okay.
some.
So you get the idea.
Yeah. So
Throughout
I mean,
okay.
it's like I get where Nate's saying where he doesn't relate to it, but I mean, if you've ever been in a situation, just maybe not necessarily the exact scenarios, but a scenario like that, I mean, anybody's gonna relate to this movie for sure.
Yeah.
Whether you make YouTube videos or a teenage girl or not, I mean, you're gonna find something in this movie that you find relatable and that you've been through.
And it was still a good movie. I don't want to sound like I didn't like it.
No, I didn't get that at all.
Yeah, I was entertained. I thought it was good. It was a good one-time watch. I'll probably never revisit it, but it was funny. It was charming.
Yeah, it's not super like you're not gonna walk out of the theater like it's not one of those kinds of movies, especially with the ending.
Right, it
It's
just
definitely
kinda ends.
it's one of those A24 endings where it just kind of stops.
They're just like, it's 90 minutes. Movie's over.
Yeah, movie's over. I mean, they got to eat chicken McNuggets, so I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good way to end the movie. I mean,
Yeah, that was a good.
that's
that
how I want to end my day.
How many book bags would you give it?
I'm gonna give it I'd say like 8 Gucci book bags.
Yeah. She ends all of her YouTube videos. She goes Gucci.
I think that's what we need to start doing too.
Yeah, I would give it 7 Gucci book bags out of 10.
I'm definitely gonna rewatch it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those movies that's going to definitely have a
Well,
lot of longevity.
Yeah, I was gonna say that 10 minutes. I want to see it. It pulled me in enough to be like, all right, what is going on here? Like, what's the message? What are we gonna learn? And
don't worry about the R rating. Seriously.
Yeah, it's like aside from that one rapey kind of scene. I mean, it's not bad. It's just very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I mean, the F-bombs are so.
is it like Last House on the Left uncomfortable?
Oh no!
Okay, good.
No.
Okay,
Did
good.
you watch that?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, I watched it in theater
Man.
4.
So did I.
Yeah,
No,
I was just
opening
like,
weekend.
ooh.
'Cause I was a huge fan of the original.
I almost had to walk out. Like,
No,
that's how
yeah.
tough it was.
Nowhere near Last
see-
House on the Left.
You should see I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah, or Irreversible.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, movie's really enjoyable. I look forward to seeing it again. I look forward to seeing more from Bo Burnham. I don't know if you guys are fans of
I
his.
keep thinking you're going to say Bill Burr.
No, Bo Burnham.
I'm not really a stand-up comedy guy, but I liked him on Vine. I thought he was very funny on Vine.
Yeah, I thought he was on. Apparently, he was on YouTube. I had no idea he was a
Yeah.
YouTuber.
I didn't know that either. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, he must.
This
have,
sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up.
but he has a few specials on Netflix that I definitely recommend checking out. He's very. He's mostly like music. Like he does a lot of musical acts.
like funny
on his,
songs.
Yeah, funny songs, and he's very pun oriented.
Oop.
Which is fine. I mean, I can see some people being a little annoyed with it after a while. So I wouldn't watch his specials back to back because it might seem a little redundant. But I mean, he is super funny. Like I really enjoy watching. Like he's like his shows are like one of those shows that you need to see live. In my opinion.
Interesting. So where are we going from here, Sredy?
We're gonna go to the Low Side Podcast local film plug.
Yes.
/ the main topic because these are going to kind of merge. I might as well do my cashing out plug now. Watch the cashing out trailer, buy my merch. That's all I really have to say.
Alex made a movie.
Alex made a movie.
This shirt is super comfortable. Alex, did you pick it out yourself?
I did pick it out myself.
What's it printed on? Gildan?
Gildan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gildan's good stuff.
Yes, it is. I'm thinking about doing some new designs here pretty soon, but I haven't
you
really been on that.
Just print one on Champion for me. Just one shirt on Champion.
I don't think the place where I get them done has Champion.
It's probably because it's really expensive to print shit on Champion.
No, they have some expensive shit on there, just
Oh,
not
cool.
Champion. Like they have some shirts on there that are like $20 or so, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a pass.
Yeah, I want the cashing out fishing sweater or shirt. A long sleeve.
Like just a sweater.
No, it's like a breathable mesh shirt. It's almost like a jersey.
I could probably make that happen.
It's like $40 though.
I mean, it's your money, bro.
That's true.
I'll put it up for sale if you buy it. All right. So anyway, the Low Side Podcast local film plug. For those who don't know, I am a local filmmaker out of the Chicagoland region.
Gucci.
I understand what it's like to not get recognized for your work. So I want to help change that. I want to help change that within the community. What do you...
I feel like he's bitter or something. Are we going to get
Anyway.
into this?
No. So essentially what I do is that I have a submission form online that you can find on Facebook. I'm always posting about it. If it's something that you guys... I should probably post it on like the YouTube videos and stuff too.
Maybe.
Yeah, so I should probably fix that. So I'll post it on the YouTube videos and all that as well. But basically, I don't care what it is. It could be a short, a feature, a web series, YouTube video channel. I don't really care. Tell me about it, and I will promote it on the show free of charge.
You got to fill out the form.
Yeah,
though.
you just got to fill out the form. I'm not... If I have to do work, I'm sorry, but I'm
Right.
not going to do that.
You already do enough work.
Yeah, I already do enough work.
It's
So-
a free plug.
it's a
What
free
What
plug.
else do you want?
Yeah.
All right, so I technically have 3, but it's really only 2 because one of them are mine because my film is going to tie into our main topic.
Nice.
So we'll talk about these first. So first up, we have a feature film called The Art of Sitting Quietly and Doing Nothing. This is an 80 minutes comedy, drama, romance out of Chicago, and it is about a breakup that causes an impulsive young man named Carl to reside in the woods. There he reflects on himself, his past, and has a psychedelic awakening. The director is Nick Alonzo. It stars Alex Serrato, and Alicia Magnia.
Very good.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep, I like it.
I
Nice.
have a link for the entire movie that's on YouTube. I watched just a few minutes of this.
Sorry.
Damn it, Steve. I watched a few minutes of it, and it opens up very interestingly.
Nice.
I don't know if I want to...
Just go watch it, right?
Probably warn people about
Ooh.
the first scene in the movie, but I'm not going to. I didn't watch the whole movie, but I try to check out at least some parts of whatever I'm promoting before I promote it. But yeah, it was interesting.
Is it like
We're
that
gonna
one?
start promoting Nazi propaganda films. And
Is it
Alex
like that
gonna be
one
like,
movie, or is that one scene from Last House on the Left?
No, it's not a rape scene, but you're on the right track now.
Oh boy,
Hey.
just go watch it, right?
A man is in the woods.
With an animal?
No, he's
With a tree?
no
Taking a dump?
It's by himself.
Oh.
He's helping himself.
Okay.
Ah, I see.
I get it.
Which is understandable. You're living out in the woods by yourself.
Right.
You
We've all
gotta take
been
care
there.
of yourself.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Last Tuesday.
yeah. So you can, like I said, you can find this movie on YouTube. There's also a Facebook page, facebook.com / the art of sitting quietly and doing nothing. There's also a Vimeo channel, Flicks by Nick. And I will post all these links, obviously, in the description down below.
I like that. Flicks by Nick.
Nick Flicks.
And then next up, I did not get to check this one out because we decided that we were going to record 2 episodes today instead of just 1.
We did?
So
Yeah.
I didn't get to check this out. And this one was
I didn't get
fairly
notices
new.
about
I have a web series. Where the hell's the title? Web series called The Ultimate Betrayal. It is a drama out of Indianapolis. The director is Denise Hill and Wilson Murkison.
I like how he sighs when he has a difficult name
I know.
that shows
It's
up.
like, damn it.
Look,
man.
guys, I feel bad about pronouncing your name wrong, but nobody's ever going to pronounce my name correctly. So I'm in this boat with you. I'm sorry I have to be this person, but,
Alex
whatever.
gets a free pass of being
Yeah.
that guy.
I get a free pass of being that. I don't have a, I'm not
No
gonna
one
dox-
says
I'm
my
not gonna say-
name either.
I'm not going to dox you guys right now. But,
Thank you.
Mr.
Nate and Steve have simple last names, to say the least.
I got 2 first names.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
That's even worse.
So, like I said, this is a web series. I didn't get to see how many episodes or anything it was because I didn't get to research beforehand. But it stars Denise Hill, Tiffany Gilliam, and Daryl Dunlap. You can find... people, when I say please specify on what something is, please do, because I have a YouTube link. For the trailer, I asked for either a trailer or the full project link in parentheses, please specify, and people just put the link. They don't say what it is, they just put the link.
You failed.
So, I have a YouTube link. I have no idea what the hell it is. It could be the trailer, it could be the web series. But yeah, where else can people find it? YouTube and Vimeo. And they provided me with another YouTube link. I'm going to guess this is probably their channel. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. I'll be checking it out when I get home tonight.
Very nice.
Did I say what it was about?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's about, the synopsis they gave me was it's a betrayal between 2 best friends.
Ooh.
Okay. So yeah, and then
Relatable.
moving on to the last one, Adopt
Heyo.
by yours truly,
Mr. Hollywood.
Mr. Hollywood. So Adopt was made for the 48-hour film project, which is a 2-day contest where you have to write, shoot, and edit a movie within those 48 hours. And this year I drew, the genre that I drew was drama. So I decided, we've been talking about this topic doing this topic for a while now. And ironically, I got to make a movie about it.
Very nice.
So I should probably tell you guys what it's about, since most of our listeners probably haven't, well, they probably seen it.
They've probably seen it. But go ahead.
So Adopt is about a father who struggles with the truth of why his adopted son was suspended from school. And should we get into full spoilers?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it pertains to the topic.
Yeah, I think you
so-
should go all in.
Okay, so basically, in the movie, it opens up with the son and the adopted father. The son is black, obviously, but essentially, the reason why he was suspended from school is because he fought a kid who called him the N-word.
Ooh.
And basically, the rest of the movie is a conversation that the two of them have, trying to basically understand each other's views. And, the father's trying to understand the son, even though he really can't. And the son's not really trying to understand the father, but, he's like, Dad, you don't get me, all right?
Is that a line from
I'm
the
a
movie?
I'm a moody teenager. You don't understand. It's like that Will Smith song. So, yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked what you brought to the table. I thought it was different, and I think that's good. I think there's a lot of people who kind of play it safe when they do these kind of things, at least from my experience with, which is very small, with local films. I liked it. I just thought that, what do you do as a white father who has, whose son is of color? How do you approach that? And a lot of people probably don't have that experience. I myself, when I was younger, didn't go through any of that kind of stuff. Not that I was adopted by a different race, but I'm just saying, like, I was never, I didn't have any racial slurs come my way, for being Mexican. So it's just like, okay, I don't know what that's like. I had almost no idea.
Right.
So to put yourself in those shoes is probably really difficult. And I wish we would have got someone to come on the show, because it's just that perspective. I don't have it.
I wanted to, but we need to preface this a little bit, but I tried to get somebody who wasn't like us, something other than this.
2.5 white dudes.
Yeah, 2.5 white dudes. I guess Steve is the closest we get to something that's not white.
That's why he's the half.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm the half.
He's the half.
But I still don't count because I didn't go through it.
I couldn't get somebody to talk about this topic. We probably could have waited to talk about it, but I feel like it's something that's it's relevant in my life right now, so I feel like it's something that needs to get talked about, and a lot of people have encouraged me to talk about it. One of the most difficult things about making this movie is if I was the right person to make it, because I'm white and I'm talking about a racial subject,
right?
About racism, and B, I don't have kids and I don't have any adopted kids. So am I the right person to talk about this?
Right.
And basically, my perspective of why I made it is that, I haven't been through any of these things, but the main theme of this movie is two characters who are trying to understand each other's perspectives. And I know what it's like butting heads with somebody else and not understanding their side of something. I mean, we do it on the show right now, like if we don't agree on something, we're going to butt heads, and then vice versa. So basically what I did to try to elevate the story is put myself in those shoes. Like, I'm not a father, but, I want to have kids at some point, and I have a little niece and nephew, or 2 nephews actually, and I care deeply about them. So I think about, like, if they were ever to run into some trouble, at school or something like that, how would that make me feel?
Right.
So I was able to, with a little bit of research that I was able to do, because there's not a ton of research on what people do in this situation. Like, I tried looking it up on the internet, and there's almost nothing. Like, I'm sure there's some things, like there's stories, but it's not easily available.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people who are available to talk about it. Ironically, though, I don't know how this worked out, but on the ride home when we were talking about this, because since this was something I'd been thinking about for a while, I knew that's what I wanted to make the movie about. One of my new team members on the film was a friend of our friend Bobby. Bobby Anderson.
I know Bob. Yeah.
Bob Anderson from Bobby After Dark.
He was also on the show.
He was also on the show, if you guys remember. But he brought somebody to our team who, ironically, is a white guy with 2 adopted black sons.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't plan that. Had no idea until the car ride home. And his only...
And this was after you filmed already?
No. This was...
Oh, after you were drawn.
We were debating. Yeah, this was after we drew, and then I pitched the idea to everybody, and then Bob mentioned that to me. Like, I didn't...
Was there any perspective from him that made its way into the movie?
I did. So basically how the writing process worked is we came up with the story, and then, because he lives in Indianapolis, so he was traveling by the time that we figured most of everything out. His biggest thing was, I asked him, I was like, should I be making this movie? And his response was, it's about time somebody made this movie, because apparently it's not something that's real big in Hollywood. Not that I'm saying I'm in Hollywood, but, nobody's making movies about this.
Right, we get it.
I asked also some friends of a different race than me, should I be making this movie? Because one of the big things, too, is that the original script had the actual use of the N-word, whereas the actual movie did not. And actually, one of Antonio, who plays Todd, the kid in the movie.
Great job, Antonio.
Yeah, great job, Antonio. His biggest complaint is that we didn't use it. He's like, we should have done it.
We should have done it.
Yeah, we should have done it. Yeah, I really like the way we did it. So I don't really have any regrets about it. I mean, it would have made it a much more jarring experience, I think. But
gut punch for sure.
Yeah, and that was the point of that scene, is like we really needed to like emphasize this point. So going back to the guy with the adopted kids, his one request was that he approve the script. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So he actually showed up at the house probably like an hour after we started writing. So he was there for all the conversations and things like that. But he absolutely loved the script. He's like, this is great. You know, we needed something like this. So I'm like, cool. Making this movie was also difficult because some people in my inner circle didn't really agree that we should be making this movie. I don't really want to get into that because I've reconciled with these people. So, you know, I don't want to burn any more bridges, but, you know,
Right.
that's
Fair enough.
that was a thing, you know. So that, you know, that was hard. And like there was at one point I seriously considered not doing it. I considered being safe and just making something like I've done in the past. You know,
Right.
I've never done something that was controversial like this. So, you know, that was hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
And it was hard for the entire weekend. It was hard for me and these other people even beyond that. Like, you know, we didn't talk for several days. Eventually I approached these people and we talked it over, and that was a hard conversation too. But, you know, by the end, I really think it was worth it. It is currently my most watched short that I've ever done. It's almost at 5,000 views, which isn't a lot, but considering that all my other shorts average about 300 or 400, that's a pretty substantial leap.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as uncommon as some people think. You know, like I feel like there's a lot of blended families out there.
Oh, there absolutely
You
is.
know, and it's not so out of place or, you know, socially. I don't even know how to word this, but it's more common than it ever has been before.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot more people who are accepting of, you know, different race marriages, and even, you know, after the initial, you know, once children are brought in and say those parents split up and they move on, it's really not that, you know, it's really not that different. I know, I just feel like it's a little bit more of a common theme, not theme, a common situation that just happens, you know, and I don't really see why it would be so controversial. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, I just feel like, is it really as is it really as different, or, you know?
I think it's more controversial just because I'm not living it. You
Right.
know? I feel like that's where people could probably get me, but I mean,
I just feel like, but the delivery of the movie was not any way or shape, you know, derogatory.
right.
And I feel like if you were to start stepping on toes like that, I think you'd be in a mess.
Yeah.
You know, like we wouldn't be on the show right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like there's a way to present an issue that someone may be facing or may face in the future, you know,
Right.
because you've talked about possibly adopting in the future. You know, what do you do? You know, so I think that's, if you can learn from something like this, there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
You know, I don't think there was no point in the film where I'm like, ooh, Alex, you know, this is bad.
Right.
So I think there's a way to approach different topics, especially controversial ones, without being on one side or the other to an extreme, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah. As long as you did, I mean, I feel like the only, you know, as long as you're not being completely ignorant, I don't really think that there's any like topics that could be like, you know, oh, you have to be this person or that person to talk about it with some sort of authority. I feel like as long as you can educate yourself
Right.
on that topic and not, you know, come off as like belligerent or something.
Right.
Yeah. I think, at least with the people within my inner circle, I think they were just scared for me,
Yeah.
you know, which I completely understand. But I mean,
But like you said, it was probably time to not play it safe.
yeah.
And I feel like that sometimes, you know, is rewarding in a way. I
Yeah.
feel like you really enjoyed this one. Like you feel proud
Oh,
of it.
Yeah, this is 100% the best thing I've ever done.
So-
besides it's the best short that I've ever done.
Right. And it's just like, where was the harm in any of that? I don't think
Right.
there was anything. I felt like there was probably more growth than anything.
No, there absolutely was, and I think there was more growth. There's a lot of growth for all of us, like not just me, but I think the entire group. It was definitely a growing experience. Like not everybody saw the drama that was happening that weekend, but the people who were a part of that drama, I think they all of them definitely
Yeah.
grew with me on this. So let's move on to kind of what I wanted to get into. I wanted to focus more on the idea of the transracial adoption aspect of this, but I feel like we need to touch on a few other things as well. So I'm just going to read some stats to you guys. You can tell me how you feel about them, but I just wanted to
Stat time.
talk about it a little bit.
Stats.
I don't know how accurate some of this stuff is, so
Oh, it's real.
if people can correct me, this is a discussion. This isn't, oh, I'm right and you're wrong. So please correct me if I'm wrong about any of this stuff. But so I learned a lot about this, just the topic of adoption in the last few weeks of doing the movie and all this other stuff. Plus, if you guys, I'm gonna stop talking about the movie. If you guys want to watch it, I'll provide a link. But that's all I'm gonna say about it. So there are three main categories of adoption inside the U.S. There is the adoption of children within the public care system, which I'm going to assume is foster care. I'm not 100% on that, but that's what I'm getting out of it. The domestic adoption of infants who reside in the United States and are adopted through private adoption agencies or independently, depending on state law, which I'm going to assume is, maybe if you have like a surrogate mother or there's just a mom or family who doesn't want a kid and they decide to, give it up to somebody. But I'm not 100% on that. And then there is adoption of kids from outside of the U.S. as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know there was this many forms. It's expensive. Cost can range between like $25,000 and $50,000. So
Wow.
Damn.
which is something I didn't know. It's a lot more expensive if you are adopting outside the U.S. because there's those obvious travel expenses and all that. Let's see here. There's something I wanted to say about that. So, like Steve mentioned, I'm not really considering adopting right now. It's just the thought that I've been having. No particular reason. I just feel like it's kind of selfish, at least for me. I'm not saying everybody not to, just because there's so many kids out there who don't have parents. Why bring in more kids and add to the population that is already outrageous right now? Like, I do want to have kids of my own for sure, but I feel like I could be helping somebody out as well. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do, but it's just something I'd been thinking about and why this topic kind of came up. There is closed adoption, which is where the birth parents remain anonymous, but there's also open adoption, which I think is a lot more common, where the parents basically communicate with the kids still throughout the child's life. But one of the things I found most interesting about adoption is that you're not guaranteed to get the kid.
Really?
I don't know if you guys
So
knew
even
this.
after you spend
there's
$30,000.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go through the entire process of how to do this. It's not like a how-to video on how to adopt a
Right.
kid today.
So if you're
What's
wondering,
up, guys?
Yeah, what's up, guys? We're gonna teach you guys how to adopt a kid today.
Let's jump right in.
Let's jump right in. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Give us all the money. Go to our GoFundMe page, Kickstarter. No, so we're not going to go through all that because it's a lot. Like,
Yeah.
this whole process is fucking insane, to say the least. But basically, especially if the parents are involved, because I think no matter what, the parents are always involved. But you can go through. There's like it's not really a grace period, but it's a time that it's maybe like 1.5 to 2 years, where you basically take care of the kid, and afterwards you can adopt, or the parents can take it back, or just something like that. But that's all up to the parents, which I just find fascinating. So, like, the parents still have that control.
Yeah.
And, like, you can get super attached to this kid and then just get completely wrecked.
sorry, Nate's coming with us. He's not going with you.
Yeah.
You've already spent your money. So what happens to that money? Like, for real, let's say,
Well, one of the things, too, was, like, you could be paying for things for the parent, too. Like, well, I don't
like
remember.
school supplies or clothing?
No,
like, how
like,
is
you
it?
could be paying for, like, the parent's rent. Like, it gets crazy, like, depending on, like, what the situation is. Like, that's why I don't want to get too far into, like, the process of it, because, like, I feel like almost every case is different. But, like, you could be paying for the birth parent's, like, life, essentially, depending on the situation. which is something I didn't know.
Yeah.
What else?
Sounds like a sweet gig.
Yeah, like it's
Give your kids away.
it
get
is
paid
not
for it.
for the weak at heart. And like I was watching this YouTube video of the process behind it, and the woman who made the YouTube video made this really, really great point. If you and your partner, because you're probably not going to be able to adopt on your own unless you're trying to open up like a foster home, but if you and your partner are not both 100% on board with this, you should not do it.
Oh yeah.
Like, no. But moving on from there, there's a little bit of a breakdown of the age distribution of kids in foster care right now. 26% are 1 to 3 years of age. I would assume under 1 to like infants. 19% are 4 to 6. 15% is 7 to 9. 20% 10 to 14, and then 12% are 15 years plus, and over 30,000 children a year are aged out of the system. So pretty much when they're 18,
They're on their own.
Dunzo.
Wow.
Yeah, they're out on their own. Something I found interesting too is you can be an adult and
Get adopted?
get adopted.
It's about time.
Yeah. So I mean, that would probably make sense for for those kids that are 18 plus and they just don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that really interesting.
So, where does the money come from for these? Is like this because I don't even know. Does foster care, is that state funded? Is that government funded?
I think it just depends because if you're running like a foster care, like they give you money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the logistics behind that, but you do get some money. But I know it works a little bit differently if your intention is just straight up to adopt. Because it's almost, I don't know if this is the right wording for it, but like running a foster home is almost like running a business. And these are kind of like, these kids are sort of like your assets.
They're almost like products.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's a lot of TV shows I watch. Like, you guys familiar with Shameless?
Yeah.
No.
So there's this, I can't remember what season it is, but it's about this dysfunctional family, and these kids have been in and out of foster care, and all this and that. But they go to these foster homes, and of course they're the shittiest situations that you can imagine. But it is almost like a business for these adults who are taking in all these kids because they're getting money. They don't have to work. Like, this is their job.
Right.
So there's probably some funding there, but like the things that we were talking about with the expenses and things like that, like I don't think anybody's paying for that. Like, you're paying out of pocket for that. So you essentially need to be kind of
pretty wealthy.
Loaded.
Yeah.
That's not always necessarily true, but it's certainly helpful.
Right. Wow.
It's just, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I would imagine they probably have to set the cost so high though, and it sucks to say, but you got to imagine there's probably some fucked up people out there that would adopt the kids and do horrible stuff to them. If
absolutely,
if you could get them for cheaper.
Yeah.
Like if it was affordable for like an average person, I feel like that's probably why it's so expensive, or at least part of the reason is sort of that barrier of entry of like, okay, are you sure you're a good person?
Yeah, the thing is too, there's like there's a whole process of, you got to do several interviews with the agencies or whoever's, the middleman between you and the kid. And I'm sure there's that protection too. Like it's like I said, it's a whole long process of making this happen. And I definitely tip my hat to all the people who, up to this point, who have made that happen, because it's nuts. One of the other things so to get more into what I actually wanted to talk about, one of my friends wanted me to mention this too, not only just the transracial adoption too, but also kids with disabilities is the huge thing too. One of my friends passed along this story to me. I'm not going to give you all the details because there's YouTube videos about this too, but essentially there's this woman, I don't know where she's from, but she has a bunch of biological kids of her own, but she's also adopted a couple sets of twins, a set of twins who were prematurely born. There was another set of twins. I don't think they had anything disease or disabled wise wrong with them. Yeah, I mean, you got to be a really strong person to take on something like that.
I was just going to ask you, does, like, now that you've kind of dove into the system and found out the process, Does any of that scare you?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like it's
Like-
too big of a mountain to climb to do what you said? Like, you
What
sound,
my intention was?
yeah, like it sounds like a genuine intention, but the mountain's so high. Are you going to climb it?
I can't honestly answer that right now.
Yeah.
It's
Like, financially, it almost seems like it's out of reach for most
it
people.
does seem out of reach. Like, if this is something that were to happen for me, I don't think it could happen until I'm well into my 30s. And, like, I couldn't do that right now.
I'll tell you, I don't make enough to do that.
Yeah.
So,
And
I mean,
I don't feel like I'm going to be able to make enough in the next 5 years,
right.
to be honest. And, like especially with that process, like, it's tough. Like, I couldn't even imagine right now. Like, I didn't think, like, there's, like, when you look into this, you don't think about all these things, you know?
Mhm.
Like, it's nuts. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know there's a few people that we know that are interested in doing this. Like, it's like a big thing for them.
Yeah.
And it's even out of the country that they want to, they want to adopt someone that's less fortunate, that's, not in it's like a third world country kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to better their lives because pretty much of the same, things you've mentioned. And it's just financially, it's just, so it's a lot. And they're kind of getting stuck with, what they want to do in that process. Do they take the money out and do it, or do they, how do you go about that? I don't know. But, it's just, the financial part of it is, I think, the biggest hurdle for a lot of people, and
Yeah, and I mean, that, and I think just the emotional aspect of it. Because, like, okay, put yourself in this position. Like, you go through this. Like, you get a child at the infant stage. You go through a year or two of just the process of having the child live with you and doing all these interviews and things like that. And then they're just gone.
right.
Like, could you handle that? For me, I have one word to describe how I would feel in that situation. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that is the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah.
In, like, being in that situation. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, even to even consider that as something to do, for me, that's a big deal.
yeah.
I don't know if I could take it. I don't know if I could take that challenge on. There's just a lot to it. It seems like it's too complex for me to handle, and I don't think I'd be that person fit for that situation.
And you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Like,
I feel you have to know your boundaries.
Yeah, this is the debate that I've been having in my head right now. Like, going back to, like, the disabled kids, or even just, like, the ones that don't have any disabilities or things like that, or even just, like, the transracial kids, like, does it make me a shitty person if I don't want to do that?
No.
And I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, it's not for everybody. You might find some dickhead that's going to say, like, oh, you're a terrible person. Why don't you just take in all the kids? Why aren't you like Brandon and Angelina,
Yeah.
Picking them out like they're,
right. Like they're toys.
Yeah.
And that's not what you're trying to do. I think in most cases people want to try and help that, that person or that child. But if you can't even take care of yourself, what good are you going to do this adopted child?
Right.
They're already in a situation that is not, the best or ideal. So, why make it worse for them?
Yeah.
Wait till someone,
That's the
it
biggest
sucks.
thing too.
You have to wait till you find someone suitable, but that sounds terrible, but I think that's just the reality of the adoption world. Again, I have no idea what it would be like or what it's like. This is all me outside looking in. Hey, this is, what I think of this situation, but it just seems tough. It seems pretty rough.
Yeah. So let's get more into, like, the transracial adoption, because, like I said, that was what I wanted to focus on. I wanted to mention that because my friend who I was talking to, she told me I should mention the kids with disabilities. I didn't think about that, at the time, and that is important too. My friend actually has a child who has Down syndrome. Cutest kid you've ever seen. Like, he's wonderful. But you know, that I got to thinking about that too. But she's definitely considering adoption as well. I don't know if she's looking to find a child, you know, a child with disability, you know, to try and help him out or whatnot, because she's already in that situation, so she knows she can handle that for sure.
She's
You know, not that there's anything wrong with her kid right now, but you know, she's been through the rough patches of that, you know, disease,
right,
to say the least. So going back to the transracial adoption aspect, like I said, we wanted to focus on that, and I have some statistics about that, or just some facts, and this is what I've been thinking about. So I'm going to say these, and we're going to talk about it, and we'll see how we feel about it. So research shows that many white Americans, prefer to adopt from abroad than adopt available black babies at home. Experts note that racism, an affinity for a particular country, and a desire to help as explanations. Additionally, white couples may worry it may not be in the best interest for an African American to be raised in a white environment. Finally, white couples may not be aware that black babies are so readily available, whatever that means. Yeah, I know. These are some weird-ass facts. And then the other one, kind of on the opposite coin of that. So let's take that from a white person's perspective. Now let's take it from a black person's perspective. Most adoption professionals agree that, in quote unquote, all things being equal, it's a better place for an African American child to be with an African American family. The National Association of Black Social Workers is admittedly opposed to transracial adoptions, arguing that such adoptions are, oh boy, racial genocide.
Wow. That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, so that's rough.
Well, I mean, I feel like the way you grow up is definitely the environment you're surrounded by.
Yeah.
However, I don't think, I mean, racial genocide.
Yeah, that's a little
are
too
we
much.
jumping the gun a little bit here?
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, it's not like they're turning into a white person. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're always going to be who they are. Like, I mean, that cultural aspect of their lives is always going to be there. You know, maybe growing up in a white household, they're not going to get it. They're just not going to have it 24/7 other than the fact of living with it themselves. But I mean, it's not like they're not going to be surrounded by it at some point. I mean, it's not like I'm not surrounded by white people 24/7, you know?
Right.
I'm surrounded by all sorts of people. I'm, you know, around half Steve, half and half.
Right.
Half and, the old half and half.
old
Hey, it's
half and
half a Steve.
I feel like if someone wants to adopt a kid, no matter what race they are, anything, what disability they have, and this person is a normal, sane human being, and they just want to adopt a kid, they should be able to do it without any sort of like stigma attached to it.
Yeah.
Because to me, the system of foster care is just fucked. It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like the kids usually end up, you know, a lot of them have psychological problems from being in and out of different homes their whole lives, jumping from foster home to foster home.
Yeah, so not to cut you off, but one of the things that we were talking about earlier with, you know, the family, like say I wanted to adopt and then losing the kid, that's exactly what, you know, I forgot about the kid's perspective too, jumping home to home, like that fucks them up.
Right. It's something, obviously we don't know exactly how it is because as far as I know, none of us here were adopted. But
nope.
So, but to me, it's like, I just feel like it would be better to get any kids out of that situation because I feel like that situation's horrible. And then when you're 18 and they just tell you to fuck off and you have no idea what about anything.
Yeah. What's next for me at that point?
Like if you're raised in a house where there's like 10, 15 other kids too, it's like you don't get the time that a normal parent would have to like spend on you as an individual.
Yeah, it seems like they go from one stage of kind of shitty circumstances, and when they get removed at 18, you're back in the same, but you're just a different age group now.
Yeah.
Unless you find unless there's a family out there that has a real big positive change for you, that can help you in very, a lot of aspects of your life. I feel like you're just shifting.
Yeah.
And
you age out, and then you essentially become homeless.
Right. I think like what Nate said, like the system is flawed in the sense that there's too many kids and not enough support and resources.
Yeah.
So you kind of juggle who, here's 5 kids.
Right.
Okay. We're done.
Take care of these kids for a year, and then we'll send them somewhere
else.
else.
We'll ship them somewhere else. Again, I don't know how it works. I don't know how the system works, but it just sounds like it's, from the outside looking in, it looks very under-resourced, and there's not enough for everybody.
Yeah, but, I mean, you hear a lot of stories about, foster parents having a bunch of kids, and then the kids are living in like garbage situations, because it's like, all these kids, I've got 10 kids to take care of, and they all sleep in the same bedroom, and they all have like a cot that they sleep in, and it's like, what kind of growing up is that?
Yeah,
it's not.
It's a whole other subject too. Is just like the people who have these kids. Like, there's got to be.
Yeah,
there's got to be.
Let's jump straight into abortion, everyone. Here we go.
No, I'm just saying, like, there's the responsibility has to be taught at home. Right. At least I feel like that.
Like I said, when you got these kids that are, you got those shitty people who are looking at this as a business, and it's like.
They're like, here they come.
Here they come. Like, there's people who do that.
That's terrible.
That's a real thing. And then exactly like what Nate was talking about, they're sleeping on floors all in the same bedroom, or, oh, God. We could do an episode. I don't want to talk about those people though. Fuck them. That's all I got to say. I'm not saying all of them are bad. I'm sure there's a lot of foster parents who are very loving. They might have 10 kids or whatever, but they probably are trying to make a better life for the kids that do come in and out of their homes. But we live in a fucked up world where that's not always happening. So I just want to say, fuck those people.
I agree. And could you just imagine growing up having absolutely zero privacy at any moment in your life, and just you're constantly surrounded by other people. You're always with other people. You never have a moment just alone.
Yeah.
I feel like that would drive me insane, because I'm someone who I definitely have always, even as a kid, like my mom would tell you guys, like I've always valued like just being by myself and just being
like
able
me time.
Like not being able to have me time, even when I was a little kid, and all I wanted to do was just go play with action figures in a corner somewhere. I just wanted to be by myself though.
Right.
And you don't have that.
No.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I just feel like the system itself is garbage, and I feel like if anyone wants to adopt a child that can, like, you should be able to, as long as you're, perfectly sane and normal.
You're fit for the situation.
Asterisk, like.
Nobody's normal.
Yeah.
But, okay, so to feed off what Nate was saying a little bit ago, so the big question that came to mind, well, that was brought up to me, that kind of was the inception, or like the catalyst of this whole subject, was, would you adopt a child of a different race? My original answer was no, because of the exact reasons. Well, not the exact reasons, but like because of situations like the one that I made the movie about. Like, what happens when this kid runs into racism, and I don't know what to do about it. Now, my original response was a little ignorant, because I basically said, I don't know how to handle that, so I shouldn't put myself in that situation, which is valid. If you really feel that way, there's nothing wrong with that. But not trying to talk about the movie again, but one of the when I try to explain this movie to people, or at least like the themes behind it, it's not so much that this parent is ever going to understand, or even yourself, what this kid is going through if this situation to occur. It's that as a family, it's your job just to be there and just support them no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Your parents not gonna. It's just like the 8th grade movie. You know, like this dad is not going to understand everything that comes. He's a single father. Like, I don't know what the mother figure is in this movie. It's not mentioned. But what's going to happen when he runs into, you know, sexism or, you know, God, that awkward conversation that would have happened if he would have found out that about the backseat adventures, you know.
Right.
How would he handle that? It's the exact same scenario, just in different context.
Yeah.
But you're going to handle it the same way. You're going to be there for them. You're going to support them the best way that you know that you can. Doing nothing about it is worse than... All right, so before I finish that sentence, you think doing something about it is better than doing nothing about it?
Yeah, I think
or maybe just in certain circumstances?
I mean, I feel if there's something that can be... If there's something good to come out of a shitty situation, I feel that's growth in itself. And I feel like that's enough. You know what I mean? And I even look at it like sometimes when we're even at work, like if I see something that, you know, not so much with the people I work with, but people that come into the building. And if there's something that doesn't look right, you know, like let's say, you know, these guys are, you know, these young kids are picking on a girl or whatever. Maybe someone's getting bullied, you know, like I have found myself stepping in at least to say stop. You know, I don't say, you guys shouldn't do this because X, Y, Z. They're not going to listen. That's not what they're going to, at that moment in time, they're not going to take away that from what I have to say.
Right.
Stop. Don't do this. You know, I feel like that's, you know, that I'm just getting rid of that situation. And I feel like that's the good thing to do in a bad situation. You know what I mean? Because maybe that person doesn't have the strength to say, stop, leave me alone.
Yeah.
You know, so that other voice that can come in and say, you know, this is wrong. Don't do this to this person. You know, that's good. Maybe in the future that person starts to develop a voice for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like there is good to be taken from bad situations. And if everyone is learning, which doesn't always happen, you know, I feel like that's enough.
All right.
So that's where I'm at with that.
Cool. So I think we said a lot. You guys agree?
I feel it.
I don't have a ton else to say. I think I got everything that I wanted to say out here.
I think it was a good topic.
So I'm going to end on a real world example.
Let's hear it.
So, like I said, I have a friend who I currently started making films with who has 2 adopted black children from Uganda, I think he said. So he did the outer country adoption. So I told him to just tell me anything just about your experience. So I'm going to read to you what he said to me. I don't know if he wants me to name him or not. I'm not going to.
That's fine.
So yeah, he said, I think the big thing my wife and I were worried about was our immediate family accepting our kids. We don't go to many family events besides holidays, so we were worried about that awkward tension. Honestly, it's been great though. My family's been very supportive and even helped us raise money when we got into a pinch by having a cookout. So I'm guessing that they've been through these insane costs.
Yeah.
Costs to have one of these kids, let alone 2. I don't know if they're twins or not, but I'm not 100%. I probably should have asked them that, but beside the point. Another thing would be, it really depends on where you live. That will depend on the bullying. My kids are super athletic. I have people asking them about baseball and sports. My town itself has become more diverse as a whole. It's not like Chicago by any stretch, but there are more families here that are made up of different ethnicities in single-family homes. So, I mean, it's awesome.
I think it's a great point that he has is times are changing.
Yeah, times are changing, people.
Yeah, get on board or...
It's pretty much to the point where get on board or fuck off.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where I'm at this point. Like, if you're not cool with anyone doing whatever they want, as long as they're not hurting someone else, just fuck off.
Yeah. Hashtag fuck off.
That's the hashtag this week. You know, we have our weekly hashtag. This week it's hashtag fuck off.
Yep.
If you can't accept people's lifestyles or anything like that, just because they're different than you,
fuck off.
Fuck off.
All right. That was a good discussion, boys.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think so. I think we'll take it to home. We'll
Closing.
go on.
time.
I'm really hoping that people are listening this far in because I really want to know if there is someone who listens to this podcast and they've been in that situation. Like, for real, let us know if we're on par with what we're saying,
like I
or
said,
if we're totally just off base. Because
You
again,
can
there's something to learn from
educate
this.
us.
Yeah, there's
Please
something to
educate
learn.
us.
reach out to us. Lowside Podcast at Gmail. Actually, sorry, scratch that. The Lowside Podcast at gmail.com.
Of course, comment too.
If you want to send us an email, and if you don't want to have a public comment out there,
I could see that.
we can have a little private discussion. So yeah, the Lowside Podcast at gmail.com. If you want to have
Hit us up.
if you want to email us about it instead of posting publicly.
Absolutely.
Of course, don't forget to rate and review our podcast on iTunes and Google Play. Although, who really knows what's going on with Google Play? Because none of us have iPhone.
Let's just pretend like Google Play doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Just like Alex Jones.
Just get SoundCloud on your Android.
If you have Google Play, let us know if the episodes work. What's going on?
Honestly, I feel like everybody that listens is probably
on
Every
iTunes.
single person I've talked to that listens to the show has an iPhone. So I genuinely do not know what's going on with the
Yeah.
Google Play stuff.
I'm gonna look into it, but every time I try to look us up on Google Play, it's just not there.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Like, we got approved. We had one episode on there at least. I don't know what the hell happened from there.
So SoundCloud, if you have an Android phone, is probably your best bet. Of course, we always have our episodes archived on our YouTube channel, which the new episodes release day and date, correct? As the iTunes and SoundCloud?
Oh, yeah, everything's day and date.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, day and date there on YouTube. Of course, we've got video now, so YouTube is probably, at least in my opinion, the best place to
Or Facebook video.
check us out. Yeah,
For some for some reason, people really like Facebook video.
Yeah.
I don't really get it, but I mean,
it works.
if you're watching us, I don't really give a shit.
They're already
as long
on
as you're
Facebook.
watching or listening.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we talked about not being on Facebook all the time and wasting your time watching videos. But this is it's an educational experience.
yeah.
This isn't man, I forgot. It's not junk food.
Right.
I mean, it can be junk food.
Yeah, this is healthy talk.
Yeah, this is healthy talk. So make sure you waste all your time with
us.
at
Yeah,
least.
we're healthy.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm Nate. I've been joined with Steve.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Blah.
And Alex.
Peace.
And this is the Lowside Podcast. Forever.
Forever. We'll see you guys next time.